and welcome to my course, How to Create a WordPress Website Using Avada 5.0. Now this is a follow-up to my wildly successful course that I posted last year that used Avada 4.0, and that had 100% feedback from all the people that took the course. Now in this course, I'm going to show you everything that you need to know in order to set up your website, from creating pages, setting up your blog, how to use all the different elements, and it's going to, in the end, it's going to look really, really great. So if you're ready, let me show you how to put together a website that's going to get noticed. Alright, again, hello and welcome to this course. In this first video, I'm going to show you how to get your WordPress website set up using the Avada 5.0 theme. Now I got to tell you that Avada 5.0 has brought a lot of changes from the previous build, the 4.0. And so this is something that's going to be a little bit new and exciting from my previous course, where that was made in 2015. That was the 4.0. And I got to tell you that Avada has really improved with every single update that it's had, and I highly recommend it. So I'm going to show you where to buy it, and then I'm going to show you how to get it set up on a Bluehost. And Bluehost is the company that I use for hosting. I really like them. So I'll show you everything, how to get set up with that. And so here we go. So in order to purchase Avada, what you want to do is go to market.envato.com and just type in Avada. Now, just a side note, the Envato Marketplace, if you need any kind of multimedia content, whether it's graphics or any kind of PSD files, anything like that, that's the site that I use. I think it's worthwhile to purchase some of the things. They have short little videos, music, whatever your needs are, and I use them all the time. So Avada is right here. Now listen, Avada is $60. I know there are a lot of themes out there that are cheaper than $60, but I have to tell you that I've been using this theme for about 4 years now, and it just keeps getting better and better. It's so versatile. It's very quick. I just absolutely love it. So for me, the $60 is well worth it, and I think that you should purchase it too. So if you're going to go ahead and purchase it, go ahead. Go right here. You'll probably have to just set up an account. I already have one, and so just buy that. All right. If you're actually logged in and you ever need it in the future, if you go up here to your account and go to downloads, you can actually see all your previous downloads here from the Envato Marketplace. So mine is all the way down here at the bottom, and if you ever need any of the files, just go right here. So what I'm going to do is actually, I went ahead and downloaded all files and documentation. I did this before, and I have the zip file, and that's already right here on my desktop. So what we're going to do now is we're going to assume that you don't have hosting. I'm going to show you how to get the hosting and install WordPress, and then install that file, the theme, into WordPress. Now, just a real quick mention about WordPress. People ask me all the time, what's the difference between WordPress.org and WordPress.com? You definitely want to get set up on WordPress.org, because that's where that actually represents your own site. So that's where you can go in and upload themes and do a lot of your own customization. WordPress.com is more of, you don't have that flexibility. You can set up a blog, but you're using their themes, and so that's really the difference. But that's all done for you, and so what you want to do, let's go ahead and you'll go to Bluehost. So just bluehost.com. I'll just go back here to the home page really quick. So again, I recommend Bluehost. I hardly ever have any downtime. They're very quick. There's a lot of different plans. You can just get started with their basic plan for $3.95. I'm just going to let you go ahead and go through that and choose your own options. It's pretty self-explanatory. If you have the money, I would go ahead and pay a little bit extra for an upgraded hosting plan, because it will be faster. So maybe one of the Plus or Primes, or even Go Pro. If you can afford the $13.95, having a dedicated IP address and some of these other features, well worth it. And I actually pay for that, so I'd recommend you do that as well. So we'll just assume that you went ahead and purchased a plan through Bluehost or any of your other hosting companies. Generally, once you're logged in and you're in what they call the C panel, that has a lot of these same options. And so Bluehost has the install WordPress option right here under websites. And so if you click that, and this is assuming that you already set up a domain name and everything. I don't think I have to go through that information. So just go ahead and click the install WordPress once you've set that all up, and we'll get started. So once you've purchased the domain, you can just come here. I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to be using a Scratch site for the purpose of this tutorial, and so rounds and reps is something that I purchased before just to play with. So we'll go ahead and get that set up, and go ahead and click next. So site title, go ahead and just name it whatever your website is, like rounds and reps, and then right here, this is going to be your email that you set up. This will be your actual, what you sign in with once you go to WordPress. So you want to definitely write this down and choose a really good password. So just, that's going to be the login and then admin password. I would go ahead, you can keep this, which is a really great password, or you can change it to whatever you want. I've already done that before, and it's already set up, so I'm not going to change the password. So that's not my password if you're thinking about it. And then automatically create a database, and then I understand. Okay, and then I have read the terms. And then go ahead and click install. It'll just take a couple minutes to install, and then you'll see a prompt that will say to go to your website. So I'm not going to do any of that because it's already set up, but once you go there, it'll redirect you to wordpress.org, and then you just type in this admin username and then your password. And once you do that, it's going to lead you to what's called the dashboard in WordPress. And so from the dashboard, I'm going to reference this a lot in this tutorial because this is where everything happens. This is where you're going to edit all your information. This is kind of all the behind the scenes work that goes into your website. So here is what the dashboard looks like. And so to install the Avada theme, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to my desktop really quick. Here was that zip file that I downloaded from the Avada marketplace. Okay, I'm going to go ahead. We're going to expand that really quick. So here's the file right there. Go ahead and open that up really quick. And then Avada theme, click right there. And then we're actually I'm gonna drag this on the desktop. Not that one. We're gonna do this one, the Avada.zip. I'm just gonna drop that on the desktop just for right now. And so what we're gonna do to install the theme, you go to Appearance, Themes. And now I have some themes that I uploaded before. They're all right in here. And so what I'm going to do is go Add New, and then click it again, Upload Theme, choose File, and that was on my desktop, and that was, let's see, the Avada zip. Okay, open that, and then Install Now. Now this will just take a few minutes to actually upload and then install. If everything goes well, you'll get a message, a confirmation message that will say everything went fine. Sometimes if your hosting is limited to the your upload, sometimes you'll actually get an error message that'll say, are you sure you want to do this? If that's the case, I actually have a separate video that I can send your way. I have it uploaded to YouTube, and it'll run you through, what that error is all about. It's kind of frustrating when it just says, "Are you sure you want to do this?" And of course you do, but it will just basically be a blank screen. So hopefully that won't be the case. We'll see if this works. I'm gonna just put this on pause while it uploads, and then I'll just start the video up again. Option page right here, theme installed successfully, and then what you want to do is go ahead and click Activate. All right, so once you've activated it, you'll have to go and actually install some of these required plugins. Go to Go Manage Plugins right here. And then what you want to do is install the Fusion Core, Fusion Builder, and probably a couple of these other ones as well. But you just hit install. It'll do everything for you. You don't really have to do anything. Go here to return to required plugins. Once it's activated successfully, install the Fusion Builder. I would probably say just go ahead and install, for sure, these two, but layer slider, go ahead and do that. You'll probably use a slider revolution. That's a really cool slider that you can use. If you're going to actually sell something on your website, then WooCommerce is a really great plugin to have. The BB Press is basically if you're going to have kind of like a forum. So that's great. Events calendar, obviously, you know, if you're going to have a lot of events, things like that you want people to see, I would install that. That's really awesome. And then contact form, more than likely you'll probably have that. That's a really cool form that you can get set up where people can send you, will contact you. It's all self-explanatory. So make sure you activate all those. And if you ever want to come back to this screen, it's right up here at the top, up at Avada right there, or right here on the left-hand side, and you can see it right there. The other thing you want to do is you want to go to System Status really quick. You want to make sure that everything is good. Now, right here, the WP memory limit, I'm actually surprised I didn't get an error before when I was uploading it, because we should actually have a higher limit than just 40 megabytes. And so what I'm going to do is I'll just go ahead and post the link to the video to explain how you can actually change these limits. And that's a really good idea, especially if you decide to install some of the demos, which I'll show you in a later class. The final thing I want you to do with Avada is I want you to go to Product Registration. Now, I'm already registered, okay, and so I can't really show you how to do this, but essentially, you need to register the product so it will auto-update and you don't even have to worry about it. And you can have the support from Avada for, I think it's like 6 months. And so it's going to run you through all of the descriptions. It'll actually send you back to the theme forest right here, and it'll show you some of you'll go to settings, and it'll actually ask you about your API keys. So these are just, and that's where you'll find it, and that's actually what you'll plug into this area when you come back to it. So just follow the instructions that it comes up with and make sure that you register your product. But at this point, Avada is actually installed. We have all the plugins updated, and we're all ready to roll. So at this point, I'm going to show you, go through all the different options of Avada and how to get your web pages set up. And we're going to start from the beginning. I'm going to make it very basic, show you all of how to set up your pages and how to put it all together. So of course, if you have any questions, or if I've lost you at any point, definitely make sure that you follow up with me. You can send me emails, messages here on Skillshare or any other platform that this might be on. I'm always willing to help you. But that's the gist of getting Avada set up on WordPress. We're all set to go. And I'll see you in the next video. Now in this video, I want to continue showing you what I was showing you before as far as how to access WordPress, and just give you a quick overview, kind of a tour of the WordPress dashboard. Now, when you want to access your site, what you do is you just type in the web address that you chose. Okay, so mine, remember, was roundsandreps.com, and then you're going to add this little appendage to the back end, the WP-login. And when you do that, it'll bring you up to the login screen. So type in the username that you created and the password right here, and go ahead and log in. So anytime that you want to get to the dashboard, this is how you're going to do it. All right, very good. So we saw this before. This is the dashboard. I want to just show you some of the options really quick. I don't want to waste a whole lot of time doing this. But again, as a reminder, anything for the Avada, anything with the support, installing the demos, plugins, anything like that, it's all going to be accessed right here. Now, over here on the left-hand side, this is where we're going to find all of the options for WordPress. And also up here in the top right-hand corner, if anything with your personal information, the settings, password, anything like that, you'll find it up here in the top right. But over here on the left, let's just go through some of the basics here. So obviously, dashboard or home will bring you back here to this page. Okay. Now, post is going to be anything. If you have a blog, or if you're going to update any kind of articles or have any articles on your website, that's going to be what's called a post. Now, media, obviously, that's going to be any of the videos that you upload, any of the pictures, anything like that, or any kind of PDF files. It's all going to go to media. Now, pages, that refers to the pages on your website. So your home page, your blog page, your contact page, those will be pages. So those are different than posts, because remember, posts are going to be more associated with something like a blog. And then if anybody actually leaves comments on any of your posts, you'll find all the comments here, so you can regulate those. Your portfolio would be if you're for instance, an artist or a photographer or something like that, and you're going to upload a lot of different pictures. The portfolio would be where you do that, or that's an option. You don't have to, but you can set up a portfolio. It looks really, really great. Okay. Now I'm going to skip down here to appearance. Appearance, you're going to access this a lot throughout this whole tutorial, so just keep this one in mind. Themes, we looked at that earlier, and that's where you actually uploaded Avada. If you have any other theme that you want to use, this would be where you go. But down here, so there are a lot of options here, so I don't want to get ahead of myself, but any of the options for Avada would be here under theme options. And again, I'm going to in the future I'm going to show you where that all the options for that. But for right now, let's just leave it be. Now, plugins, we'll also cover that in the future, but plugins, there are a lot of different plugins that you can actually add to your WordPress website that's going to make it either faster, just run more smoothly. It's going to help you with your SEO. And again, I will show you a lot of those in the future. If you have different users, you can add those here. And also, as far as some of the settings, we'll access those right here. As far as, when you're writing, just some of the various options. What I recommend is you just going through some of these and looking them over, and it's pretty self-explanatory for the most part, but I just want you to be familiar with it. One of the things I want to do really quick that's going to help you in the future, since we're already here, just go down to permalinks, click on that really quick, and make sure that this right here, post name, is clicked. Anytime that you have any kind of post, it's going to show up as your website name and then the slash and then whatever the name of the article is. For SEO purposes, this is the best option to have, so make sure that you just click that, and this will save us time in the future so that you don't have any crazy looking URL, and then just hit Save Changes. Okay, and then of course, like I said, you can click right here, go back to your dashboard. And that about sums up that's just an overview of the dashboard. We're going to go through each one of these different options as we go along here, kind of show you how to do it, set up your pages, set up some posts with your blog, but that's about it for right now. All right, now to get started with your website, I like to follow a certain order when I do that. And the first thing I like to do is actually set up your pages. Now your pages is going to be your home page, your blog page, your whatever page, contact page, you name it. And so to do that, go to Pages and go Add New. We'll name our home page, we'll just call it Home. I'm being pretty generic. So all I want you to do at this point is just create the page and then hit Publish. And you don't have to have all of the pages done all from the beginning, but I like to do at least the ones that I know for sure I'm going to have. And so I'm going to go ahead and go back here to Pages, Add New. And I'm going to create my blog page. Again, the blog page would be any page that you think that you're going to post up new content to. It doesn't have to be called blog, but I'll go ahead and call it that and hit Publish. And my advice to you would be just go ahead, get a couple pages, and do the same thing that I just did, and then from there, if you go to all pages, you can see I have my home page and my blog page. And so anytime you want to access those, you just go to Pages, all pages, and then you can go back and you can edit those individually. As you can see right there, you can put them in the trash, whatever. So that's where you're always going to have access to your pages. Now, what I want to do now is set up the home page and then my blog page. So to do that, go to Appearance and go to Customize. And now go down to Static Front Page. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to have my home page be a static page. That means that unless I make changes to it, it's always the same. So when people visit my website, they come to that page. That's considered your static page. So I'm going to set up this page like that. The front page will be my home. And then the post page, which we're going to set up as a blog later, we'll go ahead and put blog right there. And then just hit Save and Publish. Now that we've done that, Anytime that you come to your dashboard and you want to edit any of the pages that you create, that's how you'll do it, right from there. Okay, so now you have a couple of pages set up, and now I want to show you, go through the theme options. Now, something really important to understand is that Avada has so many options and customizations and things that you can do to it, it would be impossible for me to show you everything. And so if you do have a question, as I mentioned before, just reach out to me, send me an email, and let me know how I can help you. So I'd like to start with the theme options. I went to Appearance, clicked the theme options, and this is what we come to. And the first part that we have here is the layout. Now I'm going to quickly go through a lot of this. I'm not going to go through every single option, but I want to just show you what some of this stuff means, and it'll give you a good idea and give you a good start. Okay, so layout, you have a choice of either boxed or wide. Now what does that mean? I'm going to go to my site, Simple Content Creation, and show you really quick. This is an example of wide, meaning that this first page right here is wide. It goes the entire expanse of the web page. Okay, it's the full length of it. Now, an example of boxed, we'll go to my blog, and so instead of being the full length of the page, it's actually going to have things on the side. So it's going to be a certain width. So here you can see like a background, and it's just a certain width. And you go back here to my theme options, and you can see the site width. I have it at 1170 pixels, and you can define that. So it really just kind of depends on the site that you would like. I've seen sites done both ways. I personally like wide for most of my pages. I think it looks great, but you know, it really depends on what you want to do. And so just go through these different options right here. You can play with it. Single sidebar layout, you know, sidebar would basically, if I go back here to the blog, these are the sidebars right here. You can have a single sidebar, you can have dual sidebar, another sidebar on this side. All those options are in here, and you can really determine the width of it. So the menu, and this is the next video what we'll set up, we'll actually set up the menu itself. But as far as the overall height of the menu, so again, just as a reminder, this is the menu right here. These are the different pages that I have set up. So I have my home and blog. I have a couple others. Obviously my logo. So this is going to be, everything here is going to be right there. So the height of the menu, you know, you can see that, you know, change the padding if you want a shadow. And what I recommend doing, really, honest to goodness, the only way that I learned this was to change something. Came down here, save changes. Always make sure that anytime that you change any of the options here in theme options, that you do save changes before you go to a different page, or else you're going to be a little upset. You'll learn that lesson quickly. You know, if you want, you know, dividers, you know, just go through all this and look what it has, because there's a ton of different options. Even for your mobile device, you have different options, and so what that requires is for you to actually select it, save it, and then look at it on your phone. And you know, you're going to have to change it. Mega menu, it's a really big menu. And then the next one is responsive. Now responsive, you absolutely want to click that to the on position. Okay, responsive basically means that on any screen it's going to look really good, and because everything is going mobile, or you know, to you know, something like your tablet, you want to make sure that it's responsive. In fact, you know, I've been doing a lot of thinking lately that instead, because a lot of times I would design my site on the on the desktop, and then I would change it to a mobile device. But lately I've been thinking I need to actually design my site for a mobile device, and then maybe change it to a desktop. You know, if that makes sense, because most people are looking on their phones nowadays. So make sure that you can go through here, change the number of pixels of where, you know, of as far as it's responsive. This is going to require a lot of you, you know, playing with the options. Make sure you always save it and looking at it on your mobile device. Okay, and then colors. One of the cool things you can do is there's a predefined theme skin, as it says here. A white one, which is basically, you know, where everything is white for the most part, or actually the dark one. And so dark would be, let's see, let's just go here really quick. where the whole page has more of this dark feel to it. So depending on the feel that you want to have for your website, predefined color schemes. The color schemes, let me go back here, would be, anytime that you don't really see it here, but anytime that you have links or anything like that, or buttons, this predefined theme, this is basically what it's going to be. So maybe I actually have a few here. So this is predefined as in it's blue. So like this I guess cover over right here is blue. A lot of the links are going to be blue. You're going to see that all throughout the theme. And so if you want to have a predefined color scheme or have a primary color, you can actually select one here. Do that there. Now the headers, right back here, of course this is the header, and so I have the logo over here and then all the links over here. And you can see you have all these different options right here that you can select. That looks similar to what I have. You can have the phone number. And so a lot of different options right there. You can choose where you actually have it, the location of it, where it's at, top, left, right. All right, and then of course a sticky header. I like to show people this. A sticky header is basically, if you watch as I scroll down, you see how it goes smaller and it follows you all the way down. I kind of like that, so you have easy access to the different links, and that's a pretty cool option right there. You can have a background image back here. The styling of it, as far as shadows, colors, things like that, it's all available there. Of course, upload your logo. This gives you all the instructions as far as your logo goes. If you want to display on a Retina display, which is becoming increasingly more important as 4K becomes more mainstream, just make the size of the logo twice as big. And of course, for your mobile devices. And then the favicon right here. Favicon is basically up here. See the little, this isn't a very good one, to be honest. But it's the little icon that you can see up there on your tab. And so it's 16 by 16, tells you how big it needs to be. I would definitely load up one of those instead of having the generic one that your hosting company will put there. Footer, of course, the footer is all the way down here. And you can see all I have for the footer is the copyright, simple content creation on this page. You can actually have some different widgets as far as like a calendar or different links. And all those options are in here. You can see how big it is. If you want the footer widgets, you can turn that on. I'll show you later where you actually access the widgets. It's under Appearance, and you go Widgets, and it'll show it for the footer. But then you can put all your description right here for that. Okay, and then of course the sidebars, the styling on that. Background, that would be like this color. What's going on right here for the background. The typography. Now, you can find pretty much any kind of font that you want right here. And the typography, so you can just choose it right here and then choose the size. And so this is for the body. Now, the body would be any of the regular text like this right here. Now, if you go to headers, of course, this is going to be any of your H1, H2 that you have on any of your other pages. How big it is, what kind of font it is, and all the options are right there. Of course, blog. We do want to have a blog. You can name your blog whatever you like. Go through the different styles of the blog. Right here, this is the front page of my blog on simple content creation, right there. And I think this is medium alternate. I believe that's what that is. Again, this is just something you have to go through, change the different looks of it. Portfolio, again, this is going to be for any artists or photographers to set up. Social media, let's click on that really quick. If you have, if you want social media links on any of your pages, this is where you go. You put in all your information, back to your Facebook page, for instance. And so anytime that you put a social media icon anywhere, it'll know exactly where to take it. Okay, and then just go through the rest of these. Search page, right there. The different format of it, and let's see, A lot of different options right here. Go through each one of those. Some of these ones down here are custom CSS and advanced. Unless you really know what you're doing, I would probably leave those alone. If you happen to want to put in a Google, like a tracking code, if you know what you're doing there, this would be where you go, the advanced code fields. And you can put it right there. And so you don't even have to go into the code, into the page itself. You just put it right here and it'll show up. Okay. And then just finally import, export. If you want to just copy all your data and export it and send it somewhere to somebody, this is where you do it. Okay, so that's just a general overview of theme options. There's so many options that I do apologize. It probably felt like I was rambling a little bit, but you just really have to go through all the options. Take a look at what they are. But if you're ever in question as how to change something, if you don't see it on the individual pages for the options, then you would want to go to theme options and see if it's in there, because generally it is. And unfortunately, you have to go back and forth sometimes between the two. But the more you get familiar with it, the easier it becomes. Now, for the final video of getting everything set up with Avada, I know I've shown you a lot of options. You're probably getting bored at this point. You probably want to get started on your website, and I understand. But let me show you a really easy way how you can get started. One of the cool things about Avada is they include what's called demo content. So if you go up to Avada and click Install Demos, they created a whole host of different demo sites that you can actually install yourself. It'll upload all the content from these demo sites, and the only thing that you have to do is actually go back and delete the content that's not relevant and change the wording and whatnot. So it can actually make things a lot easier for you. So if you have a certain style that you had in mind, instead of creating each page individually and working on it that way, you can actually just kind of deconstruct an existing demo and make it your own. So if you look through here, a lot of different demos. They're constantly coming out with new demos, and they honestly, they just keep getting better and better all the time. So you can preview any one of these demos. For instance, we'll preview this gym one. And so if you install the demo content, everything that you see here on the demo will be there, and it'll be exactly how it is right here. So again, it can be pretty good in the sense that the overall format's set up. And so if you like how it's set up, then fine. I mean, you can change anything you want at any time, but you might actually have to delete a lot of things or change a lot of the text, a lot of the pictures and whatnot. But it's all set up already. Everything from testimonials, membership, facilities, blog, you name it. It's all here. And so I just want to show you actually how to install one of those. Again, you can preview each and every one of those, see which one would be closest to what you would like. So all you have to do is, of course, click install, hit OK. Now this might take a couple minutes, a couple seconds. It just really varies. It depends on your hosting company, but if you go to the top, everything was successfully installed right there. And now there's this plugin that they want you to install, Regenerate Thumbnails, and that basically that just resizes all the images. That can be a little bit tedious, but basically just go ahead and click on that, and then on this next page, it'll actually, I already installed it earlier, so the plugin down here, just install it, run it, and then you should be good to go, and it'll actually lead you back to your dashboard when everything's said and done. And then when you go, if you ever want to access your page here from the dashboard, just go up here and then go visit site, and it'll actually take you to the site right there. So I kind of worked on this before a little bit, so it kind of has a few changes to it, but all the content is right there, and it's just, I just have to go back in and change it out to how I like it. So that's pretty cool. If you go back to your dashboard and you go to your pages, you'll see each individual page right there, and you can go in and edit them as you wish. And that's basically where we're going to pick up on the next pages. I'm going to start off with a blank page, and we're going to work that way and show you exactly how everything works and how it comes together. So it's going to be very, very cool. But I wanted to show you that really quick. It's a fast way to put together a website. You know, I don't think everybody should. I think you should definitely make the site your own. But that's how you install the demo content. Very, very simple. And again, if you ever have any questions, please let me know. At this point, we've laid the foundation of how to get everything set up, and it's been really kind of boring. So I'm really excited at this point we can actually get started with some of our pages and actually putting some things together. So let me show you how to do that. So to do that, go to Pages and go All Pages. If you recall earlier, we already created the home and blog page. So go to the home and click Edit. Alright, so this is the Fusion Builder. This is the page where you're going to edit everything. If the Fusion Builder isn't here by default, go ahead, it's going to be right here. So click, just go between the two. You don't use default editor. That's all kind of manual. That's like the old way of doing it. Fusion Builder is basically going to allow you to do everything drag and drop. And it's really, really cool. Now, there's been a lot of updates to Avada 5.0 over the 4.0 version and before, and they're great. Everything is so much easier at this point, and they put everything all together right here, so you don't have to go chasing elements. You know, if you look up here, start up here with the builder, you know, there's all these different options up here to, you know, toggle the different containers. You know, add some code. You can actually like save different elements, meaning if you create a cool container that has certain elements to it, you can actually save the whole page layout. And what it'll do is it'll save it to over here to your library. And so you can name it whatever you want, and you just save that template, and it will save. And so you can reload that same page or that certain container or column, and you can just use it for future reference. And so you're not having to recreate everything every single time. And that's a cool upgrade that they've done. Now, the other thing that they have added, of course, is this. It's the history. So it's kind of like if you have a Mac, it's kind of like Time Machine, where you can go back. You can actually see all your edits and revisions, and you can actually go back to previous things, and that makes it so much easier, because I know a lot of time I've updated or changed things and I didn't mean to, and there was just no way to actually go back to it. So that's very, very cool. Now, just moving on over really quick, if you ever want to preview what you're working on, just and you're not familiar with WordPress, you just click right here on Preview Changes, and that will actually show you an example of what you have so far. Don't hit update. You never hit update until you're actually ready to save whatever you're working on. But you can always go back if you do happen to hit update. You can go back to a previous version. But as far as the containers go, it's all right here, and it's all so simple. If you go down here, there's some more Fusion page options that you can take a look at as far as the sliders, the page setup. You know, just different padding, the header, you know, whether or not to display it. You can go through here and look at all this. You won't use this quite as much down here, but I just wanted you to be aware of it. Now, I do like the fact that they do have a getting started video, so if you have some additional questions and I'm not answering them, this might be very helpful for you. But to get started, they have right here to add a container. And the other thing is they actually have a pre-built page, and I'm going to show you this really quick. If you recall from the last video in the demos, I showed you that you could install a whole demo site. Now, if you don't want to do that, which, you know, sometimes I don't recommend because it's just a lot of stuff you're not going to use, you can go here, click on any demo you want. If there's something that you saw that you loved, you can just click on it, so the Avada gem, and you can click on any of the pages and you can load it up, and it'll load the entire page for you. And that is very, very cool. And so I would definitely take advantage of that. So going back here, we just add a container. Now, basically to explain a container is basically it's part of a web page. It's what it contains, okay? Hence the name container. All right, so we're just going to do right here a full page container to start off with. Okay, now the container, let me go over here. Now this section right here with this guy, this is a container, this box. All right, and these are individual elements right here and right here are individual elements within the container. But this actual guy, the picture of this guy, that is the background of the container. So if you click on this edit right here and go to background, and let's see, we'll upload an image. So when you upload an image to your media library, these images are already here. But what you can do is go to upload, and you can just drag and drop an image there. And you know, I always recommend that you before you upload any of your images, that you do change them, make them as small as possible. You don't want to upload an image that's like 3, 4, 5 megabytes, anything like that. You want to make it really small for the web. So but these files are already in my library, so you know, we could just choose any one of these. We'll choose this guy right now. You go down here to insert into page, and then now this will become that background. Okay, and of course you can change, you know, different animations, whatnot, the overall design, if you want a border, like the size of it. Okay, but in general, it's going to be 100% width, meaning it goes all the way across. And we're just going to hit save. And let's go over here to preview really quick, because we want to take a look at what we have. Okay, and actually that container is way too small. So I'll just go back in here and all right, there you go. So all I did there was I went in to the element, the container, and went to design, and then I changed the padding size. So I just changed to 500. And that was what made it go from that small to a little bit larger. And you know, we can go in here, let's just add, let's make that 200. And then we can preview those changes again, and we can see what that looks like. There we go. So it just made it even bigger. All right. And so once we do that to the container, then what we want to do is actually add some elements. And so let's do content boxes. Now the content boxes, let's go ahead and just work on this really quick, and I'll show you what we can do. So I'm just going to say, hello, this is a box. Okay, I'm going to choose an icon. We'll just do we'll do this little leaf right there. All right, you can change the color of everything if you like, and you can, or you can upload your own image. And then I'm going to say, thank you for viewing our, I don't know, our website. Okay, I'm going to hit save. Now you can go here and add more content boxes as you go along, and this will actually change how they're set up. But I'm going to save that. We're going to preview it. Okay, and so that's one box right there. Then what I can do is I can just keep going in, adding more and more boxes, just like that. And then let's go ahead, classic icon on top, if we want. And what I'm going to do is I'll go in here just really quick. I'm going to choose some icons. I'm just going to choose whatever. I just want to do this so you can actually see how this is set up. Do a heart. We're going to save that. Go up here, preview changes one more time. And then what we should have is we should have 4 icons side by side. All right, so actually I messed up. So they're all stacked on top of each other. So if I go back here, all right, to the content boxes and the number of columns. So let's change that to 4 instead of 1. That's why it's not side by side. So we'll save that one more time. We're going to preview it. and they should be side by side. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so it's side by side. Very good. It looks awesome. And then what we can do to come back here, this container. And so if we're finished with that and we like it, everything looks great, then what we can do is we can just choose another container, and let's just do a full width container. And what that does is it goes right up underneath. Now, if you wanted to change the size of the elements, what you can do is just click right here, and we'll just say, let's make this element half the size. Okay, you can go right here and you can actually clone that, and you'll get another one right here. And then what you can do is we'll just do, I don't know, a checklist right there, and we'll just type in content. We'll save that. And then in this element over here, what we can do is we can just do, I don't know, a progress bar. Something like that. Okay? And then, you know, of course, these individual elements right here, just remember, you can change the background to whatever you like. So we could just make this straight black. And of course, we'll go and we'll make this one black. Go up here to design. Make it black. I don't think we did that. Okay, let's preview that. See what it looks like. So remember, we added another container. Okay, and there it is right there. It's not much to look at because you have to actually add more content to it. I just did something really quick, but I just want to show you how all these things can come together. Now, if you have any questions about any of the elements right here and what they do, what I really suggest you do is I suggest you go to the Avada, the Theme Fusion right here, and I would check out their demo site because you can click on all these different elements and pages, and it'll just give you a ton of ideas of how to get everything set up. It'll show you what the different elements actually do. For instance, just dividers. You can see that all the different dividers that they have right here and what they look like. Or for instance, go over to person. So if you wanted to like highlight yourself, you know, all these different looks are things that you can get set up, and all the options are right there within the individual element. And so look, we have right here a 4 column. And again, I want you to just look at this so you know what all these buttons do, what's actually available and possible, because if it's here, it's definitely possible to make. So different buttons, you can change the color, you can change anything, and it's really neat. And so, you know, going back here, if we wanted to, for instance, add something else, you know, we can just do another, let's see. You can just add another column right in here, right underneath these other two that I did. We can do an element right there. And then let's see, do a countdown box. And so you put it in the time and everything right there. Hit save. And then if we preview that, there it goes right there. And so it's really awesome how you can get everything set up. And it's just a matter of dragging and dropping. All right. So for instance, one more time, if we wanted another container underneath there, and we want, and this is basically, the container is basically just showing you how the elements would be set up. So if we just do something like this, okay, you can see we have, you know, it's taking up 1/5 or 4/5. And you can change this too. If you change this to 3/5, okay, that will push this element down here. But if we just change this to 2/5, it would move it up there. And so you can change the different sizes at any time. And just remember that you can save these different elements and you can put them in your library. And so let's just say, we'll just say do element. We'll save that container. Okay, so that container is saved right here. You can go to library container, and then it'll just put it right there. If you ever want to delete a whole container, just delete it. And so it's really simple what you can do here, and I really like that a lot. I think it's streamlined it from previous versions, and the individual elements. Yeah, it takes have to look at each one and kind of figure it out. But I think that's what you have to do to get better at this. And so if you have any questions, as I've always said throughout this entire course, please, just let me know. So what I want to show you in the next course is how to set up a Fusion slider, and that's what this is right here, this Fusion slider. It looks really, really great, and I'll show you how to set up that element. Okay, so in this lesson, I want to pick up where we left off. I showed you a lot of the page options in the last lesson on how to set up your page. Now we're going to continue here with the home page that we left off on, and I want to show you how to do a Fusion slider. Now going back to our example page, this right here is a Fusion slider. Okay, it has an image with the words with buttons. And so I think they look really great. I like the Fusion sliders a lot. And so in order to create those, going back to the edit page, basically you go over to, you have to do two things to create a Fusion slider. The first thing is you actually have to create the slider itself. So you go to Fusion slider and then add or edit sliders. And so you can see right here on the right hand side, these are all sliders that were created beforehand. But to create a new one, basically just name it something that you would be familiar with. And then as far as the slider size, 100% would be the width all the way across. And then as far as the height goes, obviously that's how tall it is. And so if you wanted to fill up the whole screen, you need to make it a little bit larger or smaller. And so there's different effects that you can select here. As I had mentioned before, you always want to check, you can check to see what it looks like, kind of experiment with it. I think doing the parallax scrolling effect is always neat, so you check that. A lot of these, whether or not you want navigation arrows, or if you have multiple sliders, you might want to check a few of these boxes. But once you're done and you've gone through these options and you've perfected it, you just go ahead and add slider. Okay, and then once you do that, okay, the slider itself is just simply the structure of the slide, but it's not what you actually see on the slide. And so to do that, you go up here to add or edit slides under the Fusion slider. And so we'll go ahead and do that. And then just click up here, add new slide. So here is where you'll actually create the content of your slide. And so again, just go ahead and label it something that you'll remember. And you have a few options that you can do. You can do a image such as this one right here. Or what's really neat is you can actually create a slide with video. And I really like doing this option because you have an actual like video, looped video happening here in the background. And so you want to be careful that it's not too distracting, but I found a lot to be to really be incredible, and they look great. So you have that option of doing either one. If you do your self-hosted, you just upload the right format. MP4 is the most common one right there. One thing I will tell you that if you self-host your video, what you have to do is you actually have to upload a separate image for mobile devices, because the video actually won't play on your mobile device, and so you just have to have an image that's maybe similar to it that's static. So that's the only drawback to it. However, if you're looking on a desktop, it looks really great. And so You know, you want to go through these options. You have the options to mute it, autoplay, loop the video. Those are all selected. It's pretty self-explanatory right here. And of course, coming down here, you'll go to the heading area. And so this would be where you actually put the type. And so you have kind of a heading, like an H1 heading right there, and then you have something underneath there. All right. So the heading area, you'd put it right there, the size of the font that you want, of course, the color, you know, any type of background area. And then the caption area would be the smaller text right there. And so again, you would customize that to how you like it. And then here at the bottom, you have a few options of, you know, you can actually have the, as far as links, you can have either have buttons or a full slide. If you simply want just one button, all you have to do is actually just delete the text in one of these. If you want two buttons side by side, you just leave it as it is. And so you have to go through here to customize it. You actually have to know a little bit about coding. If you're going to do a link to something, you want to actually put it right between these parentheses and put the web address. And you can change, you know, the size of the button, the shape. And again, you have to be a little bit familiar with the code here as far as how to change those exactly. You can just go right here and you can see some of the options as far as the buttons go. So once you're done with that, in order to associate this slide with the slider, all the sliders are right here. So the one that you just created will be over here on this side. So what you have to do is actually click on the slider, select it, and so it'll associate this slide with that slider, if that makes sense. Okay, once you do that, you want to hit publish. And then what you'll want to do is you want to go back. You want to go back to the edit page, and if that's the slider that you want to use, okay, what you'll do is you'll go all the way to the bottom here to Fusion Page Options. And if you want the slider on that particular page, what you'll do is you'll first select Fusion Slider. There's a couple other sliders that are a part of Avada, but you'll just pick Fusion Slider, and then you'll go ahead and pick the slider, the name of the slider. And then, of course, you choose where you want it on the page. And once you do that, and you hit update or preview changes, that slider will be there. And that's it. It's really, it's pretty easy to make the slider. The only thing that really tripped me up was the fact that you had to create a slider and then you had to create a separate slide and then associate the two. And so that took me initially, way back a few years ago, that took a little bit of trial and error to figure that out. But if you do it correctly, you can have an incredible slider, the Fusion slider, and it looks great, and it'll really enhance the look of your page. So far, you should be progressing along fairly well. You got the content of your page, you got a Fusion slider. I want to show you how to get your menu system set up really quick. As you can see here, we don't have any menu up at the top. We do have the logo over here, but all we see is the Fusion slider. So to do that from your dashboard, what you want to do is go to Appearance, and then from there, I want you to go to Menus. So here in the menus, you can see the pages that we've actually created, the home and the blog page, and those are the only ones that we've had so far. And so go ahead, click those two, and then you add to menu. Once they go over here, then you can manipulate them just a little bit. If you have any kind of attributes or menu icon, anything like that, you can associate that with that. And you can also play with the Fusion Mega Menu, which just makes it just makes them really big, in other words. And so also what you can do is if you have anything like a hierarchy of sorts, what you can do is you can drag these. And so if you drag it over it and make it a sub item, basically you'll have the blog, and then underneath that will be the home page. And so if you have any like main topic with subtopics, you can do that. And also you can just move these around any way that you like. Okay, and that's how, and this is the order that they'll appear right there. Click main navigation and top navigation. And then all you do at that point is you hit save. Okay, and then you'll get the confirmation that the main menu has been updated. All right, very good. So when you come back here to check to see if the menu worked, there it is. We have the home and the blog. So it actually worked just fine. Now I want to show you another option really quick. If you go to Appearance and Theme Options, I want to show you how you can actually choose different headers so it'll look a little bit different as well. I'd gone over this before in the theme options, But go to your header. And so currently this one right here is selected, but we can make it look a little bit different as well. Maybe let's try this one really quick, save changes, and we're going to try to preview this and see if it looks any different. Yeah, okay, very good. And so there you can see how it actually changes the look of the menu. Of course, there's a lot of different options. I had talked about these options before as far as the header goes. Let's make sure that the sticky header is on as well. Sticky header just simply means that when you slide down, the header will stay with it. And let's save changes. We'll refresh this really quick and we'll see if it works. All right, yep, there we go. And so that doesn't look really good right there in the middle of his head, but that's just to show you that as far as the header goes, there's a lot of different options that you can choose. Maybe we can choose this one really quick. We'll take a look, see what that looks like. So yep, doesn't look very good, but again, this is just a lot of things that you can do. And so we have our menu all set up. As you add more pages, then you'll be able to add more selections to it, but pretty easy to set up overall. Now in this video, I'm going to show you how to set up your blog, your post page, whatever you want to call it. Now I showed you this option before, but what I want you to do is go to Customize, Appearance, and then Customize. And I want you to go down here to Static Front Page. And I just want to make sure that you have this option clicked if you didn't see it in the video before. So this is how you set up your blog. You have to specify which one's going to be the home page. So we have a static page. If you're going to have, for instance, like a news page or a home page that constantly changes, you can actually make that where kind of like your blog, the front page, so you do your latest post. Okay, but if you want to actually have a front page and then a separate blog page, you just select the page from here, so home, and then post page will be your blog. And that's what we named it before. I just want to make sure that you have that selected, and then from there, what I want you to do is to go to Appearance, and then I want you to go to Theme Options. Scroll down here to Blog, click that, and this is going to give you all the options for your blog, and this is going to be universal, meaning it's going to show up on every single page. If you want to do individual options, you'll be able to do that when you do a post, individual post. At the bottom of any individual post in the edit page, you'll be able to select certain options for the page. But let me just show you really quick what my blog looks like here on Simple Content Creation. So you can see that, the blog up here. This is the individual pages right there. And actually, you might want to come to the blog, take a look at some of these articles. They might be useful to you. But this is how we have it set up. And let me click on here so you can take a look at one of the posts. Alright, so this is one of my posts. It has some of the related posts right there, comments box, pretty simple. And all those options right are going to be what you find right here. So page title bar, you actually, if you do select that, you'll see a title bar up here. I kind of don't like it. I think it's kind of messy, and if you're going to have a heading anyways, it just becomes redundant. So choose that option if you like it. My blog layout is actually medium alternate, and that was what this is, the medium alternate, and I like the look of that. So play around with those options, see what kind of layout that you like the best. If you want to have pages of blogs, go ahead and select this, or if you just want to load more, or infinite scroll, where you'll just scroll, it'll just infinitely scroll through all your different posts as you scroll down. That's what that option means. And again, if you want to excerpt, so I just have it, I think mine's set at 50. This is actually for this current theme right now. But that would be how long this excerpt is right there. And then a featured image, That would be this right here. That's the featured image. All right, and then you can just set up the formatting of the date and time if you want to set that. Blog single post. Again, these are all universal options, so any post that you post in the future, it'll select these options on or off. And so if you don't want like the author box or the pagination, anything like that, you can select all those options right here. Or if you just want to completely turn off comments completely on your blog, you can turn it off right here, and you don't have to do it individually. And of course, the blog, the meta, a lot of this I turn off. I really don't like seeing all that. In the meta, I don't even think I have it here on my blog. Nope, I have it all turned off. And so all of those options are right there. Okay, so if you're going to actually post to your blog, now that we have all that set up, all you'll do is you'll go to post, and then you'll go add new. So let's go ahead and do that. So if you'll notice, the post page is a lot like the pages page when you're setting up a page. And so we're going to use the Fusion slider, click on that, and it's going to make it really simple for us. So it's the same thing as pages. You just create a title of your post, and then you just start building it from here. Okay, and so you can start with the containers. They actually have some pre-built pages if you want to do it that way, and you just start adding elements to it as you go along. Right here, this is what I was talking about, that if you want to control each page individually with certain things, you can actually, there's a lot of the options right here. And so whether it's show all the related posts, which again, a related post would be this option right there. I kind of like that. So if somebody reads your article, they can go to another one really easily. And so you can change this individually for each one, turn it on and off. And you have a lot of the different options over here, turning on your footer, your header, things like that. So very customizable. Over here, where you set your featured image, okay, that would be, this right here is the featured image for this post. And that's going to show up right there. And that's basically, you just click on here, you'll go to your media library, you just select something, or you can actually upload it, and then you just hit set featured image down here in the bottom right, and that's it. That's all you have to do there. Tags, if you want to make it a little bit more organized, start adding some tags that will describe the article, so if somebody does a search on your page, they can find it more quickly. If you want to set up different categories, that also is going to make it a little bit easier to find things. Okay, once you do that, if you're not ready, you can do save draft. Okay, do not hit publish until you're ready to publish, and when you are, just go ahead and hit that button, and then you can preview it at any time. So if you make some changes, you just go up here, preview, you see what it looks like, and just make changes as you go along. And that's about it as far as doing your blog goes. As soon as you hit publish, it'll automatically show up on whatever page that you specified as being your blog page, just like I had for mine. So there's the blog. So when I published this, it automatically showed up here, and people could find it right from there. Okay, so if you have any questions, as always, let me know, but that's how you set up your blog. I figured since I already showed you how to set up your homepage and a blog, I figured I'd show you how to set up a contact page as well, because it's not tricky, but there's a few steps that you want to do. So a contact page, a good example of that would be this one right here. Now this is a website that I created for another doctor, and this page is actually ranked #1, so I'm pretty proud about that, because there are a lot of different chiropractors in the area where this person's at. But this contact page, let's see, it comprises having a location map, and then at the bottom, a area where you can actually submit either a question or something like that. And so in order to create a page, a contact page similar to this one, the first thing that you need to do is go to Appearance, and then go to Theme Options. Go ahead and scroll down here, and then go to Contact Form, and click on that. So the first thing that you need to do if you want to receive any kind of email is you need to put your email in there. If you want to do a reCAPTCHA, you can do that as well. Now if you want the Google Map, what you need to do is you need to get a Google Maps API key. If you just follow this link, it'll talk you through it. If you need any help, just let me know. It's pretty straightforward, and you just put in the code right there as soon as you create it. You need to make sure that you put your address in here. There's several different options that you have right here as far as the roadmap, satellite, hybrid, terrain. You can change the look of it. You can also change as far as here you can change the dimensions. And then you can actually change how far zoomed in the map is. So this one, it's zoomed out on the city of Greenville, just slightly. So you can change that option right there. And you can decide, all the rest of the options as well. And another cool thing is you can actually change the styling. So check out these different stylings, and you can see what those look like. So once you've done all of that, what you need to do is you need to go to Pages, and you need to create a contact page. And so that's just a matter of, we're just going to name this, we'll just name it, bad contact. And then down here in page attributes, instead of default template, generally you'll just leave this alone. You're going to actually select contact. Okay, so on these options, even with the Fusion Builder, you won't actually see the map or the contact form anywhere on here, and you might be wondering where it's at. They just set it up so it automatically will populate. So whatever that you build your site out to, is you can put all the containers you want, but what's going to default to is the map will always be on top, and then this will always be on the bottom. And so when you build out that page, it's always going to be all this stuff here in between. So you can jam as much stuff as you want in between them, but the map and the contact form will be on the top and bottom. And that's essentially it. Go through the different options, build it out, and then you just hit publish, and that will create this contact page with all the information that maybe your followers or the people that are looking for your business need. Okay, that's it. Now in this video, I want to show you guys how you can get started with widgets and sidebars. So to get those set up, we go to Appearance and then go to Theme Options. And with your sidebar, okay, all the options are right here for the sidebar. So go through those options and you can see how you want to get them set up, particularly for the pages and the sizing and all that. Okay, but in order to set up those widgets, go to Appearance and Widgets. When they say widgets, they refer to the ones at the bottom, at the footer, and also on the actual sidebars themselves. So let me show you really quick right here. On this demo right here, okay, down here in the this is just above the footer. So these are widgets right here. There's 4 columns, and it has 4 different items right there. And of course the sidebar would be all this stuff right over here from my blog. Okay, so in order to set those up or to edit those, as I said, you'll go to Appearance and then go to Widgets. And so here we can see the blog sidebar. And this has a whole ton of different items that you want there. Okay, so you probably don't want this many things in your sidebar. I have about 4. And so this is just kind of by default. It has, oh geez, this looks like about 15 to 20. And so what you do is you just arrange these as you like. All the options are over here on the left. Okay, and all you have to do is take whatever you like and drag it over. Once you drag it over, it'll open up. And so for instance, this little add link right here, you can do like a little image right there. And then you just hit save. If you want to delete anything, all you have to do is expand it and delete it. Okay, and then you can, like I said, you can rearrange anything. So for a sidebar, having something like recent post, tag cloud, I see a lot of people have that. If you want to do text, text is something that you could use if you wanted to put in some HTML code, something like that. If you had a certain thing you want to put in, all you have to do is just copy and paste it. If you put the title on it, it'd be like this title right there. That'd be right above whatever the item is. Okay, and then for your footer, which would be these down here, you have footer 1, 2, 3, and then up here is number 4. And it's the same thing. You just open it up and you'll choose from over here, you know, any of these that you want there, and you just basically just grab it and pull it down and you drop it right where you want it. So it's very easy to set up. You just have to actually spend some time and find the widgets that you want to display on your website and make it look good and uniform. But it's really easy to get set up. So I wanted to show you that really quick in case that's something that you wanted to put on your website. If you have any questions, just let me know. All right, that pretty much sums up creating a WordPress website using the Avada 5.0 theme. Now, I do want to thank you for taking this class. If you have any questions, because I know you'll probably have a ton for me, definitely leave a comment, reach out to me. I'm always willing to help. There are so many different options for Avada 5.0 that it would be impossible to talk about every single one of them. But I think you should have a basic understanding of how to set up a page, how to work your blog, you know, how the different elements work, including the Fusion slider. Now, if you do have more questions or you'd like to take more classes of mine, I do have a few, including the complete SEO course, which has, you know, over 2,000 students. Also, check out my How to Build a Website course for the Avada 4.0. Now, 4.0 does have a lot of similar options to it, and I actually go over a lot of SEO tips as well. So take a look at that course. I think it'll really help you out. It's been a pleasure teaching you. If you have any questions, as I mentioned, reach out to me. Otherwise, I hope you're having an incredible day.